Welcome to another weekend here on the platform. My name is Sam Omatseye. The other question I want to ask is about the Enahoro family. What is it about your family that seemed to have put you in the center of the Nigerian arena? What is it about it? Yourself, your brother, Mike, and then you also had your father. Your father was also a politician, and I know the story about how your father was linked with the MPC up north, and there were two flags in the house, about two families in the house. There must be something about the family that you can be contrarian without being contemptuous of each other.
The man was leader of the Action Group Youth Association in hometown. My father was the leader of Midwest Democratic Front. So during the election in which my father was a candidate, they put up their party flag on the front area of the house. And my younger brother went and brought the flag of the Action Group Youth Association, which was a red flag with a circle in the middle and a black mosquito. And he put it up in the same area. Of course, this was a scandal. People said, my father should get him to remove the flag. My father said, no. We will defeat him and then they will know that he's in the wrong party. So that was, the flag was left there. My father won the election. So indeed, Iman's party was defeated. Well, the actual group was defeated at the time. My brother was in jail at the time. So
that's Anthony.
That's right. I think, in fairness to, I don't know the Enahoro name, which we seem to occupy too much of. My great-grandfather resisted the British. And at dawn one morning, there was an old man. They tried to march him to Benin, which was where they kept prisoners before removing them to Calabar at that time. And he and his chiefs, his courtiers, managed to resist arrest and escape to part of Uromi, a district called Amedokia. And then the news got out where he was hiding. At that time, the British government was not yet the boss of Nigeria. It was the Royal Niger Company.
Yeah.
A private company was ruling the country, well, was ruling parts of the country.
Yeah.
And our part was part of that. And the major, he made himself a major, was actually the general, was the manager of Royal Niger Company, was one conducting the search. He brought mercenaries who were Ghanaian and Sierra Leoneans. And they revealed where my great-grandfather was. They told them that there would be no peace in Uromi unless he was executed. So one morning they finally caught him, lined them up and shot them. And my grandfather, who was to take over, succeed him, came out from where he was organizing his ambush and gave himself up, thinking he was going to be treated with respect because
The same way.
the
With
new
respect.
Yes. Instead, they took him to Calabar and detained him in prison for a year. I'm just trying to guess that you grew up with these stories as family history. My father was a civil servant. He was on trial and found guilty of sedition because he told our people not to pay taxes,
Yes.
and he got into trouble too. So that will have finished his career. But on appeal, he won. You grew up in this environment of tension.
And then what is also the fascination with journalism? Yourself, at least Anthony, Mike,
And Christian,
and Christian, yes.
well, in my case, it was accidental. I went with my brother. We were on holidays, in December holidays in Uwili. And I went to Lagos. And I was staying with my brother, Ben, who was working for a radio station at the time, NBC, or MBS, they called it at the time. And he was going to play for Lagos Cricket Club at the race course, which is now Tafawa Balewa Square.
Yes.
So I went with him. The people they were going to play against, called Cricket Club, an all-white club, was headed by the Director of Information as captain. They didn't have a complete team. So they were asking, is anyone here who plays
Cricket.
cricket? So my brother said, that's my brother Peter. He can. I was put on the team. I was given the ball to bowl. I
Oh,
did
you're a
well.
bowler.
And one of their wicket keeper was the Methodist mission priest. He lived in Yaba. So when we finished playing, he gave me a lift. And while we were on our way, he asked me what I was doing. Told him I just left school. I'm not working yet. Said, well, I should come and play again on Saturday with some other team. So I agreed. Well, when we finished playing, I bowled again. The Captain Stocker, asked me, "So I hear you're not working yet." I said, no. He said, "We're looking for a young man like you. Come and see me on Monday." I went to see him on Monday. And to my surprise, I was offered a job as assistant publicity officer, which I had no experience of whatsoever. That was the beginning of my career. Then Dr. Zikwe came back on a visit, on a tour of Haiti and places like that. And we had to organize a press conference for him. In Lagos, he was then Premier of the East. And what is a problem today was already a problem then, revenue allocation system. The East was the least wealthy. I'm not saying they were poor, but they were the least wealthy. And the SNC believed revenue allocation according to need. Of course, the action group with cocoa in the west, timber in the Sapele and things like that, and rubber in Benin.
They wanted the right
west. He said, so the action group's policy advocate, what they advocated was revenue allocation according to derivation.
Yes.
So Zik came back and Bisi Onabanjo, the editor of Daily Service, asked him, this trip you went, it was a holiday trip, wasn't it? Zik said no, and that he had got money promised, loans promised to the Eastern region. Bisi Onabanjo mischievously said, that money is going to be guaranteed by the federal government, that means by all of us. But it will go to the East because that's derivation. Are you going to share it? Are you going to share it to the rest of the country, which will be needed because we need it too. Everybody laughed. And Zeke laughed himself and he said, that will be a monkey work but being chopped. And everybody laughed, and that was supposed to be the end. I had no experience in my job, but I thought that's all very funny, but it was serious.
Mm-hmm.
So I started explaining to Zeke what Bisi Onabanjo meant. And I spied the eye of my director, Captain Stocker. I knew I was finished because the civil servant, you're not supposed to talk. Your job is to organize a press conference and just make sure that the person speaking that is respected and so on. As we left, I was feeling miserable because I saw Mr. Captain Stocker's face. And Abiodun Aloba, who was editor of the Sunday Times, came up behind me and said, young man, what are you doing in government? You should come and be a journalist. Oh, I said miserably, nobody will want me now. Oh yeah, you want me to arrange it? We're just talking like a joke. I said, yes. I said, okay. I thought that would be the end of it. But much to my surprise, within less than an hour, got a phone call, said he had arranged for me to come and see the managing director of the Daily Times now, immediately. So I had a motorcycle. I jumped on my motorcycle. I went to Kakawa Street. It was a day of surprises. I was not only offered a job as a sub-editor, the pay was even higher than I was getting in government, which already was much higher than my classmates who were 7. And he said, how soon can I start as sub-editor? I said, I have to give a month's notice in government. I said, fine. And that was how I came into journalism. I really didn't plan it. But one thing led to another. And that's when people say they made success because they worked hard. I've written about this in the past. Yeah. Challenge it. You need a minimum of 40% luck.
Yes.
Then 60% is your hard work. But to suggest that because you work hard, you're not the only one working hard. Some people have 2 jobs.
Exactly.
They did. And they are still struggling.
With great talent that have not been tapped.
That's right. You need that luck.
This position that you took during the Nigerian crisis of Nigeria of the 60s, in which you stood on the side of Biafra, which was not very popular even within your family, but they accommodated. What would you say now to the agitation, and how does it compare with your own position in the 1960s?
In the 1960s, my position was I look back now.
Mm.
I've been looking back, and maybe one or two people only knew my real position. I knew people in the military. One of them was an Uweli boy. You know, he was a lieutenant colonel, and he was brutally murdered in Abeokuta. And Christopher Kibu was the one who passed the news to me. That was during the counter coup, and that really, really got me.
Was it from the East?
Yes. His uncle was a photographer in Warri. It's Obieno. So, it was terrible. Anyway, the situation was friends of mine, because I was in the Congo with them. People you knew intimately. Colonel Palm was brutally murdered. His body was taken to the police station, and it was there. Bodies were just lying on the floor. When you know the stories, you couldn't imagine that these Nigerian officers who had been to Sandos and all could resort to. I'm afraid I have to put it bluntly, some of them were just animals, their behavior. The counter killings got out of hand. And it made one sick. Well, as I said earlier, I had a reason. I felt I had to leave for the reasons I gave earlier when we started this interview. Got to a point when in London, I spent a year working for Biafra. But my true feeling was this. I wanted Biafra to stalemate Nigeria so that we will have what we're now calling restructuring. So it's not today that restructuring began. That was what I really wanted. And this became even more clear to me when I was in Tanzania on a visit. And Tanzania had a lot of Igbos because the government recognized Biafra. Their university was full of Nigerian lecturers. Their judicial system was full of Nigerian magistrates, and so on. But in the nightclub there that they had, which everybody went every evening, you find that Igbos, Nigerians, people from our embassy. I was a guest of the Nigerian High Commissioner. I was staying in his house, and we went every night. They were mixing. And I had friends that I just couldn't imagine that the day might come when they'll be Biafrans and I'll be Nigerian. I remember once we were doing money collection in London, and one young man came up to me and said, "Peter Enahoro, we are very impressed. You're on our side." After he left, I turned to my friend Joe Brown. I said, he thinks he's complimenting me. He doesn't know what's going through my mind, that if Biafra wins, he'll be a Biafran. I can't go back to Nigeria because I'm a traitor. I can't go to Biafra because, with all I'm saying, I know my friends, the Igbos. I won't want to stay there. So I become homeless. I won't have a country. What does it mean we are impressed? I'm not impressed with me. What I'm trying to say is that we need Biafra to stalemate Nigeria. So I was one of the happiest people when they came back from Abuja, from Ghana, and they said they had reached agreement, which Gawan, of course, tore to pieces and said rubbish after he got back. The Aburi agreement. That was a disappointment. And I did travel for Biafra, yes, I did, do fundraising and so on. But deep down, what I wanted was a stalemate, not what we had in the end. When Gawan said after the Civil War, no, what did he say? No, that nobody won and nobody lost. I thought it was the most statesman-like statement he made. But of course, Murtala Mohammed came along with different ideas. And I think that's when trouble really started in Nigeria. What we need is to restructure the country. It can't go on the way it has been going on. Can't.
And it looks like you believe that what is going on in the East today is also along this line. You want the country to be stalemated into discussion for a better structure for the country.
You see, there's a feeling we inherited certain things from the British. One of them is what I call the big lie. Nigeria is not a nation. Nigeria is a colony of the British that is strung together to make money. Then they left us with a constitution that gave power to the North because that's what they wanted. We have to have a reconstruction. The North will benefit in the sense that it will make them work hard for a change. You can't live the way we are living, where everybody is living on the money from Bayelsa and places like that, on the oil money. The oil money, before the end of this century, will fade out. Before the end of this century, cars will be no longer petrol or diesel. Cars will be electric. A lot of things will change. Nigeria will not have what it has now. And look at it, everybody depends on the oil from things that they used to do, little things. The old days, you see somebody in the corner, in the street corner, he's a mechanic or something. Today, everybody is a hustler. Everybody wants a share of the oil money. You hear Nigerians say, our money. I say, what money? Chifayo Rosiji, who was Minister of Information once, he had a meeting with editors, and somebody said, our money, our oil. And Rosiji said to him, what is our oil? Before the white man came and told you this is oil, did you know that it's all oil? Say, if that money has sprouted from under the soil, you'll have gone worshiping some juju, that this is some god that has a. You didn't know what it was. What do you mean, our oil? That's what we have today, our money.
Well,
we have to learn, Nigerians have to pay taxes. The late governor of Delta.
Thank you very much for being on this show, sir. It's been a privilege to have you on this show. Right from a little boy, my dad has been serenading you even before I knew how to write. And And I've also tracked your career over the decades, and for your courage, your gallantry, and your professionalism. And so thank you for being on this show, sir.
Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Don't show me your love. It's for kittens. I ask only loyalty. That's how I'm smitten. Lovers are like doves, playthings of children.
Thank you for being on this show. You can join my column at www.samomatseye.com. And until next time, be good.